These days, if you want to capture the moment, you only need one of these, because in the right hands and with the right circumstances, it can make even better memories than something as big and bulky as this. More importantly, it's an all-in-one device, so it's not just a camera, it's also a phone, a computer, a diary, an alarm clock, whatever you want it to be.
And so it is with cars, where multi-purpose is the name of the game and bigger is not always better. Just look at the burgeoning compact crossover segment. That's where it's all happening. The B-segment SUV category, which hosts the likes of the Ford EcoSport and Nissan Juke, is the fastest growing segment in South Africa.
At least that's according to Renault, which is hoping to capture some of that market with this newcomer. See what I did there? Capture, capture.
Riding on a Clio platform, the Captur sensibly comes in at a starting price of 220,000 Rand, with the top spec we're driving costing 280. Sensibly, because that's where all the buying appetite seems to be. And on the face of it, the Captur packs in a whole lot of goodies for that price. Standard across the range is cruise control, keyless entry, LED daytime running lights, and an LG-developed media interface including sat-nav. Hop up a spec level and you get a leather steering wheel, cornering fog lights and clever removable seat covers which are fully washable.
The main thing you're paying for though in this top-of-the-range Captur that we're driving is the 1.2-litre turbo engine packing 88 kilowatts and 190 newton meters of torque. It's the only model that's available as an auto. The bottom two specs are only manual, and it's also only available as an auto. You can't get the 88 kilowatt engine with a manual gearbox.
This is a little disappointing because I do feel it lets the car down somewhat. Pulling off from a stop street or robot is, well, a little painful as you wait for the car to wake up.
And that is what the car is actually doing. Renault tells me that when you come to a stop, the dual clutch gearbox actually flips over into neutral. So there's a bit of a delay when you put your foot down and it has to engage first gear again.
Captur is the first Renault to play host to this new EDC gearbox, which was developed in-house by the French manufacturer. They're quite proud of it, and I will admit that once it gets going, it's pretty smooth through the changes, and there isn't too much lag when you want to overtake, unless you're on an uphill. Following all the comments about the dual clutch on launch, the Renault bosses did say that it's one of those gearboxes that adapts to your driving style, so it's likely to improve in its responsiveness the more you drive it. Also, for some reason, switching eco mode on does seem to help. And of course, you just need to be a little more gentle and less demanding on the accelerator.
The ride is actually really pleasant. Renault refers to it as dynamic, which I think might be a little bit of a push, but it is quite fun to drive, very stable on the road, nicely weighted steering and good suspension for this type of car. It's only available as a 4x2, but it coped really well on the dirt tracks that we drove on the launch, should the owner want to take it out of its city comfort zone.
It's a bit bigger than an EcoSport and about the same size as a Juke, with a slightly higher ride height and seating position than the Clio. I think it's a real looker, especially with the dual-tone bodywork, which comes in all different color combinations.
It's very spacious in the back with plenty of legroom for passengers. There's a split-level boot, which is great for hiding away your valuables or just giving you that little bit of extra space. You can also do that by moving the whole of this rear bench backwards and forwards. So forwards moves quite a lot. You get a lot more space in the boot. Backwards, and obviously there's all that legroom. Very clever.
I was never all that enamored with the Ford EcoSport, although I can see the attraction as it's a cute-looking little SUV. Its sales figures of almost 1,000 units a month can attest to that. A slightly revised Nissan Juke I drove earlier this year left me a little underwhelmed, like the novelty of that quirky styling has worn off and now it just feels a bit dated. This then stood a really good chance, should I be recommending a compact crossover to a potential buyer.
I love the looks. It's a very comfortable ride and it's quite spacious at the price, not to mention the inclusion of all those goodies. Much like this, it truly is multi-purpose and will fulfill a lot of your needs in one tiny little package.
However, it hasn't quite captured my heart because of that laggy gearbox. Luckily, I did manage to get my hands on the 66 kilowatt version with a manual gearbox just before the launch finished, and it made a world of difference. It's the same engine that's in the Clio, but it coped well with the extra 170 kilos or so that the Captur is carrying. At 40,000 Rand less, that might be the better buy.
It's not quite up there with one of my favorite cars from 2014 that fits into a similar category, the Peugeot 2008, but it is a close second. A good all-round package at an excellent price, no matter which model you go for.